I am always looking for ways to get better. So, James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, caught my attention right away. I don't have the book here with me presently, but I have finished reading it. This book promises a simple and effective way to change your habits and find lasting success in all areas of your life. Well, in this video, I'll give a full summary of the book and talk about what I learned from it. The first sentence of the book is very powerful. You don't reach the goals you set for yourself. You are as good as your systems. This sets the tone for the rest of the book, which is about building effective systems and habits that will help you reach your goals. Clear starts the book by talking about how important habits are. He says that habits are the building blocks of our behavior and that small changes in our habits can lead to big changes in our lives. Clear says that habits are the small choices and actions we make and do every day. He then talks about atomic habits, which are small, easy to make changes that can have a big effect over time. Clear says that an atomic habit is a small, easy to do habit that is easy to repeat. These habits may not seem important on their own, but when put together, they can change our lives in big ways. The key is to keep working on making small changes over time. Clear talks about the four laws of behavior change, which are the basis of how he helps people make better habits. These laws are: number one, making habits obvious. The first step in making a new habit stick is making it clear. This means that you need to set up a clear cue or trigger that will remind you to practice the habit. Clear says that if we want to be more likely to stick to our habits, we need to make them obvious and easy to get to. For example, if you want to start working out in the morning, you could lay out your workout clothes the night before so that they are the first thing you see when you wake up. Law number two is making habits attractive. The second rule of changing behavior is to make the new behavior appealing. This means finding ways to enjoy or get something out of the habit. Clear says that we need to make our habits interesting and fun if we want to have good feelings about them. For example, if you want to read more books, you could join a book club or make a cozy place to read at home. Law number three is making habits easy. The third rule of changing behavior is to make the new behavior easy to do. This means breaking the habit down into small, easy to follow steps. Cleo says that we need to make our habits simple and easy to do so that we don't have to deal with anything that might stop us from doing them. For example, if you want to start meditating, you could start with just 1 minute a day and gradually add more time as you get used to it. Law number four is making habits satisfying. The fourth rule of behavior change is to find a way to enjoy the habit. This means that you have to find ways to reward yourself when you practice the habit. Clear says that we should make our habits fun and satisfying if we want to keep doing them. For example, if you want to go to the gym on a regular basis, you could treat yourself to a body spa after your workout. The relaxation you experience at a spa may keep you regular at the gym. Clear talks about how important it is to build new habits on top of old ones. This is called habit stacking. By adding a new habit to an old one, we can make habits that become easier over time. This makes it easier to add new habits to our lives because they are already linked to things we do regularly. For instance, if you want to start flossing every day, you could add this new habit to the one you already have of brushing your teeth. This way, you will be reminded to floss every time you brush your teeth. Or if you want to read more, you can make it a habit to read for 10 minutes in the morning after you brush your teeth. So every time you brush your teeth, you will be reminded to take 10 minutes to sit down and read. Clear also points out how important the environment is when it comes to making habits. He says that where we live can either help or hurt our habits. He says that if we make small changes to our environment, it will be easier to form the habits we want. Clear says that we should set up our surroundings so that our habits are more visible, appealing, and easy to do. For example, if you want to eat better, you could keep healthy snacks in your kitchen where they are easy to see and reach. Clear talks about identity based habits, which are habits that fit with how we see ourselves. He says that identity is one of the most powerful things that makes people change their behavior. He says that we can make changes that last if we work on becoming the kind of people who have the habits we want. When we think of ourselves as the kind of people who do something, it is easier to do that thing. For example, if you want to become a runner, you need to focus on becoming the kind of person who runs instead of just trying to run more. The whole idea behind atomic habits is to make small changes that add up over time. Clear says that if we focus on making small changes every day, we can get big results in the long run. He says that the key to success is not to make a lot of big changes at once, but to focus on making small changes over time. Clear says that we shouldn't just focus on getting better, but also on how we get there. By making small changes every day, we can gain speed and create a positive feedback loop that makes the behavior more likely to continue. Clear also talks about how some of the most common mistakes people make when they try to start new habits. These include trying to change too much too soon, relying on motivation to keep up the habit, and not having a clear plan for when and where to do the habit. Clear suggests starting small, focusing on making the habit easy and fun, and making a clear plan for when and where to do the habit to avoid making these mistakes. Clear gives a plan for getting rid of bad habits and making new ones. He says that in order to change a habit, we need to figure out the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. If we know how the habit loop works, we can change a bad habit into a good one. Cleo tells us how important it is to keep track of our progress and celebrate even small victories. He says that keeping track of our progress can help us stay motivated because we can see the small changes we make every day. Cleo says that we should celebrate small victories to keep doing the right thing and create a positive feedback loop. Clear gives a step by step plan for putting the ideas of atomic habits into practice in our own lives. This means figuring out the habits we want to form, making them obvious, appealing, easy, and satisfying, and using habit stacking and environment design to make them stick. Clear shows how we can use atomic habits to reach our personal and professional goals. He says that we need to figure out the small habits that over time will lead to big changes. Clear also talks about how important it is to pay attention to the process of getting better, not just the end result. In the end, Atomic Habits is a powerful and useful book that anyone who wants to make lasting changes and be successful needs to read. Clear's way of making and keeping habits is both new and useful. Focusing on the power of small habits and small steps forward can help us make big changes over time. Clear's focus on the importance of our surroundings, our identities, and keeping track of our progress gives us a complete plan for making and keeping habits. if you want to make changes in your life that last, you should definitely pick up a copy of Atomic Habits. I'm leaving the link in the description. Anybody who wants to can order the book from the link.